I've known each other through Instagram, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I've known what she's done, obviously, for years. But I've always kind of been a bit like, not for me, thanks.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, and I really am making a real conscious effort to stop making stuff weird, okay? All of these practices and different types of therapy and different practitioners, you know, they're all around for a reason, and a very good reason. And but we make it weird by saying, oh, that's a bit woo-woo, or it's a bit out there and stuff like that. And so this is why I wanted to do this live, because I wanted to stop making it weird. So it's not weird. This is Sarah. She's not weird.
I'm real.
I'm not weird. I mean, maybe a bit.
We're all a bit weird.
We're all a bit weird. We're all a bit weird in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about tapping. Tell us all about it.
Okay. So tapping is the official name for tapping is Emotional Freedom Technique, or EFT, in case you've heard of that. I think EFT sounds very clinical, and I prefer tapping as a word to make it more real and maybe make it more accessible.
Okay.
So that's what I use instead. So tapping is often called acupuncture or acupressure without the needles. So it's actually using ancient wisdom. You know, going back 5,000 years, that's when acupuncture and acupressure started. And in Chinese medicine, they use the energy system of what's called meridians, so the kind of energy that flows up and down the body. So tapping uses those things too, so it's the same as acupuncture and acupressure. And what the difference is that it also is combined with psychology or talk therapy. So someone told me recently they've been calling it talk therapy on speed.
Okay.
Right? So I thought that was quite a cool way to put it. So talking about how you're feeling, the negative side of how you're feeling, while tapping on the points, sends a signal to the brain that tells it it's safe. It sends a signal to the brain that to turn off the flight freeze that you've just gone into.
Okay.
So backtracking a little, anytime you feel a negative energy, a negative emotion, anger, frustration, resentment, guilt, worry, fear, all those things, you feel it in your body. You might feel sick in your stomach, or you might feel a weight in your chest, or pain in your back, or your head goes really, tight. And when the emotion and that feeling starts, your brain, the amygdala in the brain, starts telling the areas of the body, especially the kidneys, to start pumping the flight, freeze hormones, which is the cortisol and the adrenaline. So as soon as you get into the emotion, your body's already reacting and pumping the cortisol and the adrenaline in a bid to get you out of the situation, right? So caveman days, we'd be running for the hills. So you get nervous energy, your breath might start to quicken, your heart might start to race, you might feel nauseous, you might get like itchy, funny legs, like you might get fidgety, and they're all signs that you're in flight, fight, freeze. And so what the tapping does, while talking about the negative side of the emotion that you're feeling, it tells the amygdala to stop producing the cortisol and the adrenaline, so it calms everything down. So there's a very immediate feeling, a very immediate reaction in the body. So not like talk therapy alone, where you're just telling somebody about how you're feeling, but that doesn't really stop necessarily the physiological thing that's happening in the body. So that doesn't tell the brain to stop switching off, but that's what the tapping does. So that's why I love it, because it's so immediate and has a major impact. That's how it is, what it is in a nutshell.
Because it's really interesting, because I talk a lot in my coaching, in my one-to-one coaching, we talk a lot about managing stress and managing overwhelm and all those kind of those feelings that we're so familiar with. And so my coaching is very practical, very immediate, very real life, solution oriented. That's the word. Thank you. But I think it's incredible, and I don't think I'd really put it I'm always looking at ways to express my emotions, to feel it all, particularly from when I had postnatal depression, because there was a nothingness, there was nothing. And as soon as I started to feel better or start feeling anything, I was like, I'm determined to feel all the feelings. I'm going to feel them all. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel sad. I want to be able to express them all. I want to be emotionally healthy. My emotional body, I want to take care of it. And so, and it was you talking about the managing your emotions part, which thought, right, okay, yeah,
that was the hook.
That was the thing. That was the hook. And I'm not sure that's really, we hear tapping, but there's so many people said, I can't remember how many, but so many people said they didn't know what it was. They'd heard of it, but they just did not understand what it was.
But that's completely normal. It is quite a new modality.
Yeah.
So tapping has only come out from the 90s, and NPL and things like that were probably the 70s and the 80s, and maybe CBT and that kind of NLP. Yeah. So and it is becoming much more popular, and the more I talk about it, the more I hear people going, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that." So the more we all talk about this as an option to help people, the more people are going to start opening up to it.
Amazing. Okay, so we're going to do some. So that's about it. So we're going to do some. Hi Claire. We're going to do some tapping. Should we do some now? Yeah. So should we do? So I've just had a session with Sarah, and well, I've just been in floods of tears and a real release, isn't it? And used all your tissue box.
Down
to the last tissue in the tissue box. But the feelings that come out of it and the groundedness that I feel has led to real shifts the last couple of weeks. I felt a real a lightness, a kind of I can do this, a real shift in some of the beliefs and the patterns, and it's opening up all sorts of stuff. It's so interesting, and it's been fascinating, and it's helped me understand some real significant events in the past, and something that on top I thought I'd had it nailed. I thought I knew what it was all about. It's actually about something else entirely, and which has been so fascinating. And what it's helped me do is very naturally, what I've noticed is the things like my habit of procrastination isn't so prevalent, hasn't been so prevalent the last couple of weeks. And look, I'm very aware of the language that I use, exact for it. And that's a really good example. So I am not a procrastinator, and a belief, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I have a habit of procrastinating.
Yeah, really, really
good. So and that's the kind of thing my coaching kind of is, like the language that we use and how we say things and how that affects us. But those beliefs that we have, so many people believe that they are procrastinated. I am a procrastinator. You hear it all the time, don't they? Or I am useless at this, or
especially when it comes to like particular subjects like maths or English or and how many of us are writing books, right? Everyone has a book in their head at the moment. The amount of us that think that they can't write purely because of their schooling experience, or because maybe they didn't get a certain grade in English, but that doesn't mean you can't write.
No. And this is the thing, and it's all these beliefs. We believe them. That's why they're called beliefs. And it is possible to change, and it is possible to do things differently. I like to call it possibility thinking, which is where my NLP comes in. But there is that kind of anything is possible, and the belief that you can be 43 like I am and still, and I do think it's there's no to-die moment. You're never going to say, right Sarah, that's enough, I've totally sorted.
Unfortunately healing is an ongoing process. I will be healing on my deathbed.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm fine with that. I have a lot of stuff to work with.
Exactly. And but I think it should be, and this is what I love about having my sessions with you, is that there's a real lightness, and and it's not dull and boring and sciencey. It's
what I love about it is that every client I've worked with feels an instant shift. They feel something. There is a let go. And the end of the session usually always ends in kind of a very positive visualization that leaves them skipping out the door. Like, I would love, because I do a lot of work online, and I'd almost love to take pictures of the clients when they first get on, and then at the very end, they are literally polar opposites. And it's such a joy to see
the release that you see in their face.
You can really see it, and then you can hear it in their voice, and their, you know, it's very, we carry so much stuff, carry so much shit. It's time to let it go.
Exactly, and this is, and I think that people are looking for more and more opportunities for someone to help them sit with that shit. And you know, I want to deal with this. I'm ready to deal with this now. So let's, you know, let's see.
It doesn't have to be that painful, because the pain is very quickly outweighed with a positive belief or positive thought or a visualization at the end. So what I've been describing is tapping. That you can do at home. It's free and easy to learn. It's very, you know, quick release. But what Mary and I have been doing in our sessions one-to-one is using tapping on big topics. They could be small, so you have big trauma and small trauma. And actually, do you know, for people who have multiple small, consistent, over time small traumas, there's a lot deeper wounds than if someone just has one big trauma, like a big car crash or something like that, and everything else in their life has been pretty okay. So actually the smaller traumas built up over time are much harder to release. Not harder, but for the person they're harder. And so we've been using tapping on memories and going back in time and using tapping within the memory. Do you want to explain maybe from your perspective how you use it and how you found that?
So it's been amazing how quickly I can get into that memory and how clear that memory is.
It's not something you thought about yesterday.
It's not something
I thought,
so it's not something I thought about yesterday. It's just that memory. And the disassociation is quite, because there's a neuro-linguistic program, the NLP. There is a technique that I use with my clients to do something similar. And it is that looking back but not staring,
or not jumping into
it. That disassociation is really important. And just side note, that is how you will know that someone is a qualified professional, because they'll be aware of things like disassociation and
the objective for both of us is not to let our clients relive. We're not reliving trauma. You're going back to support it, the version of you that was in the trauma.
And the disassociation bit is really important. It's really because as soon as you start being in that trauma or in that place, then
but on all the feelings come
back. Which has just been fascinating. So should we do a bit of tapping now?
How
do you want to do it? Should we do that letting go, because that's something that all of us needs to occasionally.
Sure.
Okay.
So maybe if anybody wants to join in, you can just tap along with me. Follow what I'm doing, follow what I'm saying. If what the words that I'm using don't relate to you, change them and make them more specific to how you feel or how you think, because that is going to be what heals you. Right now I'm just going to make something up that we can tap along to, so it's quite generic maybe. But the more specific you are to your situation, your emotions, and how you're feeling and where it is in the body, the better it'll be for you.
And this is one of the things that I really love, is that it is a tool that you are teaching me.
As well as the sessions.
So the idea is I'm not going to come to sessions forever. I mean, as much as I love coming here, and that you are teaching me the tools so that I can use it on my own and feel my feelings and manage my emotions well, and
it's
in a healthy way.
That's why I love the tool, because it's so empowering.
Amazing. Okay.
All right
then.
So you start with a setup statement, which you use the karate chop point for. So this is the side of the hand here, and you say your setup statement 3 times, and usually you would use your setup statement to set up how you're feeling, where you're feeling it in the body, and maybe a colour or a texture as to what that is, what that feels like, what that looks like.
Okay.
So let me just think. Okay, so even though I've got this block in my chest, because I just can't let go, of this trauma, and it's weighing me down, and it holds me back, and sometimes I feel really sad, I choose to love and accept myself anyway. So even though I have this heavy weight in my chest, because I can't let go of this trauma, and it's holding me back, I choose to love and accept myself anyway. So even though I have this black heavy weight in my chest, because I just cannot let go of what happened to me, because it was just so hard, and I'm almost stuck in the past. I choose to let it go. Okay, so top of the head. This heavy weight in my chest. So the eyebrow point is the beginning of the eyebrow. This black weight in my chest. Side of the eyes, at the side of the eyebrow, and nearly at the temple. I just can't let go. Underneath the eye. I've just had so much trauma. I don't even know where to start. This is just under the nose. And then you go to the chin. How do I let go of all this trauma? And then the collarbone point. So it's actually the fleshy part underneath the collarbones itself. Such a heavy weight in my chest. Under the arms. This is kind of where your bra strap is. I've just so much trauma to let go of. And the wrist. I don't want to condone the trauma. It shouldn't have happened to me. Okay, so it's either side of the fingernail bed. I'm sorry, I missed, there's a wrist point there too. So wrist and then either side of the fingernail bed on every finger. How do I let go of all this? It's brought me so much shame. So much shame that I'm carrying in my body. And it's brought me guilt. All this guilt in my body. I've held on to these emotions for so long. Maybe it's time for me to let them go. I really want to let them go. Okay, so I choose to let this pressure go. Chin. So I choose to let go of the shame. I choose to let go of guilt. Under the arm. I choose to forgive myself. I choose to see a better side of me. I choose compassion for myself. I choose to love myself. I know that I am good enough. I am good enough. Okay. Take a deep breath. See, that was my release. I'm still letting go.
Thank you so much.
How did that feel?
Yeah. Oh, I feel it. I feel really powerful.
That was just 2 rounds, okay?
Yeah.
You could tap for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And the more you tap, the better you feel. So,
yeah.
But, stop when you start to feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
And then come back to it when you don't feel good again.
Yeah.
So, it's an ongoing tool you can use. A tip is if you can only So say you're out and about and something's come building in you and you don't know how to manage it, you don't know how to deal with it, and people are around. Just gently tap your wrist, tap your finger points, or tap your collarbone points. I've been tapping on the train to London like this, trying to not puke in the toilets because of when I've been pregnant and nauseous. It took me from feeling like I'm going to have to get my bag out on the table and puke in it, to managing until I could get off the train at Victoria and then into the bathroom, which I wouldn't puke, but I would feel a lot better. And that's just one point. So going through each point works on a different place in the body, and they are kind of like the super highways, the spaghetti junction of the points that, say, acupuncture and acupressure would use as well. I can't think of anything else now.
So all the questions that I had when I asked you lot what you wanted me to ask Sarah was all, what is it?
What is it?
And what does it look like? And what do you do? And all of those things. So how does it work? And so I think we've covered everything, and I can see lots of viewers, lots of interested people, but I don't think there's any questions.
Anybody got any questions?
Anyone got any questions before we go swim in the sea?
We need a swim after this.
Yeah, we do.
Weather.
So we're going to go and have a swim. So thank you so much